Hey everyone, we're back and we were going to be learning about how to put a crumb layer on a cake. I don't know if you've ever heard of a crumb layer before, but it's the layer that you put on around the cake, a thin layer to seal in the crumbs so that when you're putting on your other layer, all the crumbs don't come out and get in your frosting. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. I have a cake decorating spatula here. It's great for smoothing out the frosting, so that's what we're going to do to start with. First of all, before you start, you want to fill the inside of your cake. Now, if you remember from my other video, I accidentally cut this a little bit crooked, so I'm going to put this aside in the exact same position so that I know exactly how to replace it and it's not all crooked and I got to try to figure out where it goes. I want to forewarn you, this is real time here for me and I only get one chance to make this video, and so my kids could be coming home from school any minute, so I like that. That's the one thing I want to make clear in my videos, is that you can do this even with your family, even with your kids around. You can do it. It is possible. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm taking the spatula and I'm just, spreading out a thin layer. You want it to be kind of even throughout. Now I cut it crooked, so the temptation and what I used to do and what I learned not to do was to sort of make it even with frosting, like, oh, okay, I'll just make it flat over here. Well, then when you put the top back on, it is uneven because you have too much frosting on that side and not enough on this side, and so on. So it just doesn't really work, at least not for me. And I'm sure that there's other ways to do this. This is just how I do it. It's how I learned how to do it, and I just feel comfortable with. I'm sure a lot of times I'll probably do things a little differently than the professional people would probably say to do it, and that's because I'm not a professional. I am just someone who likes to decorate cakes and has learned some tricks and tips, and I do, watch videos of the professional people, and I have a friend who's taught me some tips. So you're going to want to always keep like a napkin or something on hand on the side to get that. So now I've got that filled, and I took some of the excess off. You don't really need to do that because when you start putting it on, you'll do it, but I'm just a little compulsive like that. Okay, so now we don't need to put a lot on. We just need to put a thin layer, a thin crumb layer on around the cake. I don't usually work from the back, but I want you to see exactly how to do it here. So that's a little different for me, but so you just put it on and you put it nice and light and a thin layer, and you just do that all the way around your cake, and you can go back later and fix it up. It doesn't have to be perfect as you're just getting it on there. I like to actually put it on a little bit thicker the first time. Some people they would rather just put a super thin layer and then come back and put the next layer thick, but I like to sort of get a thicker layer just to start because I feel more comfortable myself that it's going to cover the crumbs and they're not going to just show through, but that's just me. I could be wrong too. It's just a precaution I've always kind of taken for myself. So I'm just going all the way around and putting that thin layer on, and I'll even this out a little bit in a minute. Now it is looking a little bit like maybe it's crooked out to me, so before I get going, I am going to put just a little bit of icing underneath to lift it up on this part, because I feel like that's where it's maybe become uneven. It's kind of like There we go. It looks pretty even now. And then just push it back carefully. You don't want to be too rough because you don't want to break your cake, but it is fixable if you do break it, and I'll show you that in another video. So anyway, you go on the top and you just, spread it around. You want to be careful to try to not get crumbs into your icing if you're going to be using it for the decorating too. If you want to separate it and put it in a separate bowl, that's good. That's what I've done here. But if you're going to use the same bowl of frosting for your entire cake, you'll probably want to just be really careful. Okay, this is probably good enough, but I just want to make sure it's covered in all the areas. I got some spaces over here. So it looks kind of messy, and it is right at the moment, but I'm going to, you'll see. I mean, that's why it's easy to get discouraged with cake decorating, because you're like, what in the world? This is looking like so bad right now. It's patience. Patience is the key ingredient to cake decorating. It really is. Don't try to do it if you're in a hurry, unless you're, have done it for a while. Okay. So, spreading it out. I'm just using this as a guide. I'm going to scrape it off so that it's cleaner and you can smooth it out better, because I like to just keep smoothing it and making it flattened as much as possible, because if there's bumps in there, they kind of tend to transfer right through, all the way through to me. I don't know, it's that compulsiveness in me again. The perfectionism factor. And so then what I do, because I'm usually short for time, I mean, a lot of people will just leave it out and let it, sort of air harden, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's a specific term for that. But I like to throw it in the refrigerator real quick so it hardens up a little, and then I just come and you basically do the exact same thing, but I will show you another video on how to start placing your next layer of frosting and smooth it out and finish it off. So anyway, this looks kind of not what you want to serve people, not what you want to charge people money for, not what you want at your birthday party, but it's the beginning, and that's basically how you do it. You just spread it around, and there's your crumb layer. You don't have to make it pretty, you don't have to make it perfect. You just have to cover the crumbs. And then I'm going to go put this in the refrigerator, and then when I come back, I will show you how to put the next layer of frosting on, and then how to smooth it and make it look nice and like fondant. Nice and smooth, nice and clean looking, just like fondant, without all the bumpiness and, stuff that we always struggle to make it smooth. Like, why can't I get this smooth? I can't get the lines out. I'm going to show you how to do that. And, when I come back. So I hope this was helpful. Crumb layer, email me or comment on this video if you have any questions, and I will hopefully be able to help you. Thanks.